Oh yeah, everyone. How you doing? This should be a pretty quick one. It was just something interesting that happened today, and it kind of reminded me of, how I think people are a bit conflicted as far as like how they relate with animals. So I've got a little kitten named Kibby. She's new. It's my girlfriend's cat. Somehow all the paperwork got put under my name. I don't know how that happened, but I'll take that up with her. But we go in there to the vet's place, right? These are people that work in a veterinarian's office, right? They've kind of dedicated their lives to being around animals, loving animals, treating animals, some of them going to school for like very long periods of time. Like these are animal people. They love animals, right? Why else would you choose to work in a field where you're going to interact with animals like all day long? You're constantly going to have cats and dogs and whatever other birds, whatever other kind of animals they work with there. You're going to be interacting with those animals constantly. That's your whole job. So I wouldn't imagine that anybody who works in that industry, like at a vet's office, somewhere like that, would not be an animal person, right? They love animals. They're all about them. So it's interesting that I go in there to go drop Libby off, right? She did great, by the way. Didn't cry at all. She's a trooper. But I take her in there, and there's like a vet. I don't know what her job was. I don't know if she's a veterinarian or a vet tech, or I don't know how many different types of roles they have in there. But she was dressed in the customary gear. I could tell she worked there. So she goes walking by me to go into the back. She's probably checking in. Right? It was 8 o'clock in the morning, and she's got like a bag of, I don't know, it's Burger King or McDonald's, one of those, some fast food place. And she was mowing down this, like, it looked like a sausage burger of some sort, like a little sausage like biscuit kind of thing. I didn't want to like stare down and get awkward about it, but I was a little confused, right? You work at a vet's office. You love animals. That's why you chose that profession. So how in the world can you love animals and you're walking by like a cat or a dog and you've got this pig, this murdered pig just stuffed in your face and you're just mowing it down as you go into work. And then the other animals have to smell all these burnt animals that you're eating, right? All those animals that you're sacrificing to your stomach, like, and your taste buds. It's really strange. And I don't think people understand it, right? Until you're a vegan, I don't think you'll ever understand it because the world that you live in will not look normal to you anymore. It will look very strange. It will look like a land full of cannibals, honestly. It's quite odd. You can see like the staggering numbers of the people that we kill there, the animals that we kill. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it's just strange, right? And it's not even just like vets' offices, really. It's just people I know, like people in my family. I won't name them, but there's people in my family, many of them, who I'll ask them. They have pets, right? They've got a cat or a dog or chickens or whatever it is they have, and they love, like, oh, what do you think? Oh, these are great. I love these animals. Whatever the animal is, I love them. They're great. And I'm like, huh? I was like, you love that animal? Hey, baby, what's up? You love that animal? Um, you want to come up? Come on up. You love the animal, right? But yet you're sitting there eating animals in front of the animal that you choose to love while you're killing other animals. So it's very odd. It's a very strange position to have. But that's one thing, right? When it's friends or family, because you all know people like that. You're probably, a lot of the people watching this, you're one of those people, right? If someone asks you on the street, like, hey, do you like animals? Well, yeah, I like animals. Of course. Do you love animals? Well, yes, they're great. They're cute and cuddly, and they're great companions. Whatever. Like, yeah, I love animals. Cool. Well, how many did you eat today? And just like look at their face and just like see how confused they are. They're like, "What do you mean? How many did I eat?" Well, you said you liked animals. You said you loved animals, right? They're great. But then I ask you how many you eat, and you seem confused. Like, how many did you eat? And like, oh, I had this or that. And like, oh, cool. So you choose to care about like dogs or cats or horses, depending on the region, whatever, birds. But the other ones that you don't know and you don't care about, you have no problem paying someone to kill them so that you can eat them, right? It's a very strange position to take. That's why veganism is absolutely part of the way it has to be, right? Christianity is a religion of nonviolence. So because of that, you can't be going around murdering things and then sacrificing them to your stomach and your taste buds. So it's absolutely included. And you can see kind of the crazy numbers we have here. This is just one of them. This is vegancalculator.com. I don't know how accurate these are. I'm sure they've looked into these figures and they got these numbers from somewhere. You can check them out if you want. But I don't think you would disagree that we murder and eat many of them every single year. I don't know what region this is, if this is worldwide. They got this other one here, this animal kill clock. I think this one's just US though, maybe this one. Yeah, that's the US kill clock. So we're really putting them down over here. Look at this. Chickens and turkeys and pigs and ducks, sheep, shellfish. So you can see, right? So it's strange. But I mean, that's what we do. And like I said, it's just very confusing that you have people. I know you know people because trust me, the people watching this, I'm sure the percentage of vegans is about, I don't know what the average is, 1%, maybe? Maybe 1%. Um, right. So I'm definitely in the minority, if you would. But yeah, so I go in there. It's a vet's office. These people love animals. They're working there. They're eating animals. I didn't say anything. I don't want it to get awkward. I don't want them to like do anything strange to my cat because they're mad at me for pointing out things of themselves. But yeah, it's a very odd place to live for a vegan. You won't feel like you live here anymore. This place will seem very, very different to you. And unfortunately, it's a ways from getting fixed. It's sad, but it's culture, right? It's how we were grown up. It's part of the religions. It's even built into the religious text, right? I'm going through the Old Testament, and it's almost unreadable because of all the animal sacrifice, right? You've sinned, right? So go find some innocent animal and then murder them, and then put them on an altar or burn them up, right? And throw the blood everywhere, do all that. So it's crazy. It's even built into the religion, right? Which builds itself into the culture, and then you have people's taste buds that kind of fill into that. So it's really tough. It's a decision. You have to decide that you don't want to kill things just to have lunch. And then once you make that decision and you realize that those animals have a right to live as much as you do, right? No better, no worse. You're both God's children, right? So you all have a right to live, right? You have a right to exist. That includes animals and it includes us. Hey, baby. It's not just one or the other. And it's not like, humans are up here and then animals are like way down here. That's not the case, right? We're made equally. Just like men and women are equal, you're no better than an animal. You're the same. We're all God's creations, right? We're all created by God because God wanted to create us. But I'm pretty sure that God loves animals just as much as He loves us. So it's odd that we treat them the way we do. But we do. So I just thought I'd make a little quick video on it. It's just very strange, right? And like I said, it's not just the vet's office, although that's a really polarizing example because they decided to work around animals their entire lives. So like if you're a vet tech or a veterinarian or whatever other vet jobs there are, I don't know what all the titles, the groomers, whatever. But if you work in a vet's office or around animals in a zoo, like you've dedicated your lives to looking after animals, like being stewards for animals, I I just find it very strange. Like you should probably check and see, what you ate this entire week and how many of those products came from exploited animals. Because you chose a profession where you wanted to help animals, but you don't help them, by getting hungry and then paying someone to kill them so that you can eat them. All right? Or exploiting them for milk and keeping them in cages and things like that, making them just produce eggs over and over and over and over. Right? You can't love animals and exploit them at the same time. Right? That's not correct. So, and I know people don't see it because trust me, I wasn't a vegan for the majority of my life. For goodness sakes, I've done the what is that one? Like the low carb diet where you're mowing down just meat, tons of meat and eggs and all this stuff, right? The Atkins diet, is that what it's called? The Atkins, whatever. So yeah, I did that for a while to lose weight, right? So I understand. Like I wasn't a vegan for the majority of my life, and now of course I couldn't go back. Oh, And now, of course, I couldn't go back. It would be impossible because once you value their lives as much as you value yours, you're going to find it very difficult to kill them and eat them. It's going to be, it's going to feel like cannibalism to you. So it's going to be a very strange concept for you. But that's it. And, even if you don't know people that works in a vet's office, I know you know people, friends, family, probably yourself, maybe, for the vast majority of the people watching this video. You might think, oh, do you like animals? Yeah, I like animals. I love animals. They're great. They're awesome. The ones that I choose to love. The ones that I care about, my cat or dog or whatever animals you got, birds, who knows, ferrets. Whatever animals you have, like you choose to care about those, or horses, right? You choose to care about horses. But then for some people, like in the US, if you told people in the US you're eating horse meat, oh my goodness, they would go crazy. Why are you eating horses, you jerk? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. You shouldn't be eating horses. That's insane. Because you choose to care about horses and you choose to keep them as pets. But in other countries, eating horses is totally normal, right? Just like in other countries, eating dogs is perfectly fine. As far as they're concerned, you should be able to go out to a restaurant and get a golden doodle or whatever kind of animal you want, poodles, whatever you want. Just put them on the plate and just start eating them. They have no problem with it, right? It's just a stupid animal. That's how they look at it. So you have to understand, like, culturally, it's very different depending on where you are in the world. Eating cows, right? A lot of Indians wouldn't be okay with that. They're considered sacred. But I worked at a company, and we had lots of Indians that I worked with, and we also had lots of Indians that came in from out of town, right? From different regional offices, and they would come in and they would go out to eat with us. And these poor Indians, right? They would have to, these Hindus have to sit there and watch us. At the time, I wasn't vegan yet for all of this. So at the time, they would have to watch us Americans sit there and eat cows while they were going out to dinner with us. And you can imagine, how uncomfortable would that make a Hindu, right? They think cows are sacred. And they go out to a business meeting with people that happen to live in a different region, and they're watching them cut through like a 30-inch T-bone steak, just mowing it down in front of them. And these are sacred animals. But because of their job, they just have to shut up and sit there and take it and just pretend like they're not absolutely disgusted. I'm sure they're absolutely disgusted, right? They're watching us and they're like smiling and they're trying to be nice and cordial, with their business partners. But inside, it's killing them. And they're like, this is so wrong. But they put up with it, right? Because that's their job and they need money and health insurance and got to pay the house note and the car note and all that stuff. But, it'd be the same thing, right? If someone from the US went to another country where they were eating dogs and cats, right? Can you imagine that? You go out to dinner, like a business meeting. You're over in China and they like bring over the menu and you open it up and it's like golden retrievers, we got poodles, we got whatever, chickens, they get they eat everything, right? And you might think it's horrible, but yet you do the same thing, right? You eat cows, you eat pigs and whatever, geese and foie gras and all this stuff, like you eat all this stuff, right? You just choose to care about different ones, For you, a cow isn't special, whereas for somebody else, it's sacred. So for you, murdering and eating a cow is totally fine. It's no big deal, right? But, and for another person, murdering and eating a horse is totally okay. It's not a big deal. For you, like you're taken aback. You're super offended about it because you choose to care about it, whereas the other person doesn't. They look at it like a stupid animal, not as something created by God, right? One of God's creations that deserves a right to live. So cats, dogs, horses, whatever kind of animals you can think of, those are sacred to someone. And if you're talking to a vegan, oh my goodness, you can't do anything right then. Those crazy vegans, they don't want to eat any of the animals. They're nuts. They just want to let them live and be animals. And even I, like I said, I was taking that little kitten to the vet. Even I'm a little like, I'm just like torn, right? Because cats, they're carnivores. They cannot be vegan. They will die. God designed them to eat other animals. And there are reasons for that. But at the same time, I still feel bad now. And I only noticed it because I got this little kitten. And now I'm having to get it starting to have to feed it, right? And all these bags that you look at in the store, it's like, hey, this is chicken, this is beef, this is fish, whatever. And I understand they're carnivores. You have no choice. But at the same time, I'm purchasing this pet that I want. So as far as like the free market, are we breeding more of these animals into existence? And because of that, we're having to kill more fish and more chicken and more beef so that we can feed them, right? It would definitely be more natural if we didn't do that. I think we would have less cats and dogs if we didn't breed them just for companionship. And trust me, this is very strange for me to say because I've always had cats and dogs my entire life, and rabbits and rats and everything else. I've had all kinds of animals, but mainly cats and dogs. So, and I love being around animals. Like I think they're cute and they're hilarious and they keep me entertained. But at the same time, it's like supply and demand. Because of all the demand from people like me that want kittens and cats and dogs, which they're both carnivores. They can't live on just vegetables. They'll die. I hope someone figures that out one day. I really do. Maybe some really smart person will figure out how we can get some, I don't know, some kind of food product they can eat that will be nutritious for them that won't require killing another animal. But I understand they were created that way. And God doesn't make mistakes. So there's a reason for it. But it's not for this video. So, but we're kind of creating that demand, right? By wanting all these pets, we're probably breeding more into existence than would naturally happen in the wild, as far as like the food sources and things around. Would it be better if we just let them all remain wild and just let their numbers come down naturally to whatever they should be in their environment? Probably. And it sucks for me to say that because I'm an animal guy. I like my cats and my dogs, and if I was on a farm, I'd probably have other animals too. Not to eat or not to exploit, but just to have as pets. But at least for cats and dogs, we'll keep it, dialed in just a little bit. They have to eat meat, right? So if we have way more pets, we're going to have way more things for them to eat. So we're going to have way more, wild caught fish and the chickens and the cows and everything. So even I'm kind of torn on that. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever have another pet. Like once these move on, I don't know that I'll have another pet because I'm actually I'm creating the demand, I guess, there, right? They're going to have to, I'm the demand, but they're going to have to pump up the supply. They're going to have more pets. So that's a tough one. I mean, it's probably better just to keep it natural and let them do their thing. But at the same time, Lieber over there, she's been an inside cat for 5 or 7 years now. There's no way I can toss her outside. I've agreed to take care of her, so I'll have to do that until she passes on. But going forward, it's probably best if I just left them in the wild, right? And didn't, stoke that market up so that they have all these kittens and puppies out there that we then have to feed, and they can't be vegan, so then we have to go kill more animals to feed them. And not only that, how realistic is it? I see a lot of these cat foods, they say, oh, well, it's got chicken in it, it's got beef in it. How realistic is that? That a house cat's going to be outside, chasing down whole chickens and cows and stuff. I don't think that's very natural. I guess it'd be more like rodents and fish, I guess. So maybe they should have more rodent cat food. I don't know. Like I said, maybe just keeping them in the wild's the best thing. But I've got 2 cats, kind of 2.5 the way things are looking. See how that works out. But that's my take on it. You obviously know I'm a vegan. It's part of the way. It is. They're God's creations, and I'm sure God likes them just as much as he likes us. So we have to find a way to live in harmony, with the earth and with all the animals. And you definitely can't do that, especially if you work in a vet's office, for goodness sake. You chose a job because you liked animals, and you're eating animals in front of the animals that you're caring for. You're confusing the animals. You're confusing me for sure. And I was one of those confused people, so I can say that for many, many years, the vast majority of my life. So I get it. It's difficult. And when you go vegan, this world is going to look very, very different. And you're going to be very strange. So please be very strange with me. I would love for you to be very strange with me. Let's be one of those weird people that respects all of God's creations and doesn't murder them because they're hungry. When we can eat fruits and vegetables and legumes, nuts, seeds, things like that, things that we're designed to eat. And if you get a chance and your stomach can handle it, definitely go check out Dominion. This is one of the ones that it's one of the ones that helped me along the way. It's very, very disgustingly gross because what we do to animals is gross. So it's a very honest view of what happens to these animals. Definitely wouldn't recommend it for kids. It's really gory. There's a lot of nasty slaughtering going on. If you can manage to get through it, good on you. You'll definitely see the world differently. If you can't get through it, I understand. Because I care about animals too, and I hate to watch it. Because it's terrible. So, if you get a chance, by all means, go check it out. It's on YouTube, so you should be able to get to it for free. Shouldn't cost you anything. But that's it. So I'll try to keep this one fairly short. But yeah, I guess that's it for now. So just remember, God loves us, and He wants to provide guidance that will help us to fix this place. This is going to be great once we're vegan. That's great for us, our bodies, health-wise. It's great for the planet. It's great for the animals. Helps out a lot with the water supply, which is problematic. So that's it. All right. Have a great week.